Welcome to Lindeman Outdoors. Join Buckshot and Iceman Lindeman as they celebrate God's beautiful creation through fishing, hunting, and outdoor adventures. It's time to fill the freezer and enjoy the great outdoors the way it was meant to be. Welcome back, everybody. Lindeman Outdoors. It's your boys, Buckshot and Iceman. Today we're talking turkey calling 101 with the master. Better than the Drury brothers, better than Michael Waddell, better than the legends of turkey calling, in my opinion, because I haven't heard them in person. Jeremy Lindeman.
I would not say that I'm as good as calling as Michael Waddell or the Drury brothers because, they've won world championships in turkey calling. I've never entered a turkey calling contest. I do my turkey calling. What's that?
How do you know you're not number one?
I don't. All I care, and I don't think I ever will do that, because all I care about is that I'm number one in the woods, and that the turkeys come to me and I can shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's the thing with calling is everybody thinks you got to be this really great call. Now, don't get me wrong, it helps when you can call really well, because it gives you a definite advantage on killing a turkey.
Well, just like the behaviors and knowing what to do.
That's a big thing.
It helps.
Reading the turkey, kind of seeing, what they're feeling, the mood they're in. That's a big part of it, is just kind of reading the turkeys. Fighting with the hens out there, because you're competing against those hens that are trying to get the job done. They got babies to make, and they're trying to do everything they can do to get that tom away from you for their own purposes. Oh, hang on here.
What's Zetty doing now?
I'm trying to bring my co-star in. All right. There we go.
See if she'll sit.
She will, but now she wants to be in my chair. No, you stay in your chair.
Oh, Zetty.
But anyway, I mean, it's, what are you doing there, dog? Yep. Oh, thank you.
Oh, love.
We got to do a podcast. Have a
Zetty,
chair.
we love you, but you got to go.
Yeah, I was trying to get her to be my co-star, and it's not working. But anyway, gonna adjust this a little. We're back.
Adjusting on the fly. There's Zetty. Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
Can't see you, but we can see Zetty.
Yep. Now she's gonna lay down, chill out.
Those
of you listening at home or in the radio, on the radio, I should say. Geez, I can't talk today. Let's go back where we were. You can edit all that stuff out. Turkey hunting. You got to be good enough to get a tom to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the easiest ways to do that is to sound like a hen. Yep, I know that sounds crazy. Yep. One of the easiest ways to sound like a hen turkey is get out in the woods in the morning, and when they're flying down, and listen to those hens yelping for yourself.
Yep.
And just kind of watch how they do it. They fly down, and a lot of them they'll start doing some soft yelps up in the trees before they even fly down. Then they fly down, and they feed a little bit, and at the same time, they also usually the toms are following the hens so tightly they don't have to do anything. But we've seen it before where, we had toms coming to us, and all of a sudden a hen comes out down the field a ways, and then starts clucking at those toms, yelping and clucking at the toms, and
they're gone.
They're gone. Who knows?
That's one thing we should say is you'll probably never beat a real life hen.
Just like in elk hunting, it's hard to beat, hard to get a bull to get away from a bunch of cows. Same thing in turkey hunting. It's hard to, when they're henned up, it is hard to get them away from their hens.
Yep.
you're actually better off waiting until he's bred all those hens and then try to slip in there later in the morning and see if you can't try to call him up, make him think he's missed one.
Yep. So here's what I'm thinking with, you have your turkey call first off? Okay. I'm not going to do my turkey call because I'm still learning. We're going to teach the people. This one won't get as many views because it's more of an educational podcast. So, the viewership should be down.
Nobody likes these.
But we have to do them because I think they're important. So, first thing, we're gonna go through the hunt because I know you're kind of calling changes situationally. So we'll start in the morning. It's dark. Maybe you're hearing them gobble a little bit, and they're still in the roost. Are you calling a little bit? Are you waiting? Are you just making a locator call? What do you start with?
So let's pretend I'm sitting here in my ground blind, or I'm in my turkey chair, or I'm sitting up against a nice big tree. It's dark out. I put some, I know there's turkeys around me. I put them to bed, whatever. And it's just starting to get light. We're starting to approach that. Usually it's like, you can shoot a half hour before sunrise, but usually it's about a half hour after sunrise is when they start thinking about flying down. Not always, but it's around there. Depending upon where you're hunting. But I like to kind of let them know where I'm at, so when they do fly down, that they're going to come towards me. Now, a lot of times there's going to be a group of hens that, they know there's an alfalfa field or a cornfield or whatever, and that's where they're heading.
Yep.
So it's easier to try to set up to where they want to be, but at the same time, that ain't always possible. So I'm going to, so I'm sitting there, and you just seen me. For those watching on the video, I was trying to warm up my call. A lot of times I'll put my hand in front of my mouth and just blow some hot air on that to get that latex warmed up. So it works really good for calling in Labradors. But one thing I was trying to do is I just want to just start doing some really soft, and the reason I say soft is you don't know how far that turkey is from you. He could be 50 feet, he could be 50 yards, he could be 500 yards. Yep. But you don't know. So you want to start soft. Nice and soft.
And usually you hear either a gobble right on top of you or one off in the distance.
Yep. You'll hear them gobble. A lot of times they'll answer back if they're in the tree.
Yep. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's just a real soft cluck. Just kind of letting them know I'm over here. I'm excited to be here.
It lets them know that you're on the ground like that.
Right. I'm in this location.
Yep.
Sometimes I'm trying to get him to gobble. I'll hit him with the get him to fire back at me type of deal. Zetty, you're being a menace today. Jeez. But just trying to get him, and you don't want to call too much, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then usually I'll get him to gobble back, and then I'll kind of wait a while, 10, 15 minutes or so.
You can't just shut up and wait.
Yep, kind of see what they do. And then, all right, now we're getting close to, it's legal shooting time. They're about to fly down. And there's going to be people that completely disagree with me about this because everybody has their own way of doing it, and that's great. This is what works for me. So, what I'll do is that now we're closer to go time. I'm going to start increasing my calling a little bit.
Yep.
Okay? Well, usually they'll gobble back, and then especially if I start calling and get to the point where a lot of times I'll get multiple gobblers answering me back,
Yep.
and then when you really know you're going to get them is when they start cutting you off. Like
Yep.
you don't even get through your calling, and all of a sudden they're gobbling. Yep. Yep. So they're Zetty, lay down. Lay down.
That's when you know they're coming, and that's usually when he tells me to
Shut up.
They're coming. Don't move.
Shut up. Don't move.
And I'm just sitting there all quiet, like wasn't doing anything.
But you were gonna possibly make sound. I didn't know.
So. Yeah,
I'm not telling you that you were making sound. I'm saying don't make any sound. Okay, get down.
Turkey Calling 101 and WWE with Zetty is this podcast title.
Geez, terrible. I was gone all last week, so
yeah,
she's got like super separation anxiety that I'm trying to deal with.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're calling that turkey's there. Okay, and so then I will do a fly down. Some people take their hat and they.
Oh, that's pretty good.
They make that sound on their leg too, and then I usually do a. Make it sound like she flew down.
Yep.
They get all excited when they do that. And usually I do that in conjunction with my hat that I just messed up doing the old flap. But
okay, so let's say that's usually they're coming in hot,
Coming in hot.
All of a sudden, you're sitting on a field or a meadow or whatever. You see them, they come out, and they're just not in range where they're kind of hung up. What are you going to do next?
So what I'll do to those birds, anyway, back to the coming in hot. So like I've had turkeys like F-16 out of the tree, just
fly
down, right into the decoys, pull back. My turkey season was 15 minutes long.
Yep,
that's happened a bunch of times.
Yep.
But let's say, so then that's the perfect scenario. You go in, you put them to bed, you talk to them in the tree a little bit, you get them excited. They fly down right into your decoys. You shoot them.
Boom, done.
Boom, done. Now, let's say, we're out on the field, and like you said, I'm set up, let's say I'm set up in the back corner, and all of a sudden they come out halfway down, and they're really not looking at me. What I would do there is I would try to just try to get the gobbler's attention, clucking, some yelps. Just get them looking at you, kind of thinking about what are you doing? Try and get them look your way. Hopefully they see your decoys. A lot of times you can get those hens' curiosity. I've done that tactic before where I'm like, well, this gobbler's not responding to me, so I'm going to try to call his hens into me. Get them hens to come over. And then some of those hens you can start fighting with that cluck that I just did. And sometimes you can go the submissive route where you're just real light yelps. You're basically just saying, hey, I'm over here. I want to be your friend.
Yep.
A lot of people want to call really loud at those turkeys.
Yep.
You don't want to do that because that'd just be like me coming over to you and being like, hey, and yelling
turkeys
at you.
Can hear good.
Yeah, they can hear really well. If you can see them, they can hear you.
Yeah. When you kill one, you'll see their ear is just a little hole that's like almost as big as their eyeball on the side of their head. And they can hear.
They can hear really well. They can see really well. They got vision like 8-power binoculars, and plus they can see way down into the UV spectrum that we can't. So they're seeing a bunch of stuff that we can't see as humans.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to have good camouflage, and even more important, sit still and don't move.
The best camo we've found is if you're in a ground blind, just ninja mode, all black.
All black.
Just your eyes, face paint, whatever you can do, just all blacked out. And if you're
The
in,
inside of your blind is black.
yeah, and they'll see that hole, and if they see something that's not quite right, they won't mess with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, turkeys. People think they're dumb, but they're not. They're very wary, and if one little thing is out of, they come to that field every day, and if something's not quite right, they
Yep.
pick up on it instantly. And
Yeah.
coyotes and mountain lions and bobcats and everything are trying to catch turkeys and eat them all the time, and they're not successful getting them. So them
No.
things, they're on edge.
Yep.
I
And
mean,
then
yes, you'll come
yeah,
home one day and they'll be standing on top of your propane tank in your yard. But
recommend it.
yep,
And
they're
then
they're
we
crazy.
always say like ghillie suits can't beat a ghillie suit, really.
That is some good turkey camouflage. I've had them
Cargo.
walk right past me.
Yeah. That like cargo netting that we had.
Yep, yep, some blind material. Because a lot of times you may not be set up in an area where you can find it, so we get like that old like World War II camo mesh.
Yep.
Number one, it's lightweight.
Yeah, you can get a big thing of it and roll it up tight.
Yep, you can get a big thing of it, throw it in your backpack. It's really slick for all that. So that's nice.
Well,
And
if you
yep,
move at all, the whole thing don't move.
right.
Like the one turkey after my knee surgery, I shot that thing at 70 yards with our shotgun because it was coming in, but I just couldn't hold my knee up on the gun for that long because I had knee surgery, and I moved I just moved a little bit, like I set my shoulders and gun down, and all of a sudden the birds were like, "Hmm," and they
Yeah,
spotted you.
yeah, I
Luckily, I
couldn't.
was shooting that sniper rifle with a shotgun and shot him at 70, but
It was 60 yards actually.
well,
That one, but
we've shot him. You could shoot him at 70 if you wanted to.
you could, but I don't. I'd say about 60s as far as you want to shoot with that TSS. And there's somebody, obviously you don't want to shoot that far. I mean,
No.
the whole name of the game is to get him in close.
Yeah.
But yeah, when those turkeys were coming in, I was like, what's going on? Because I had them coming so good. They were gobbling and we're
Yeah.
calling. Then all of a sudden they just on high alert. And I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't move. You have to sit still. You want to try to set up, with good cover behind you. Um, you want to blend your ground blind in as best you can.
You
You
almost
know,
want to do overkill on blending it in.
yeah, it's almost like you have to blend it in, or you just set it out in the wide open and with nothing
Yeah.
behind you. If they can see for a long ways, that'll work. But if they can't, you want to blend it in. It just makes it a little better for turkey
Yeah.
hunting. You can blend in.
But also, if they're, I think, you gotta say, if they're aggressive and they're like peak turkey rut, they'll come flying. We sat on an old farm road with our ground blind.
Yep. The time of the year is a big part of turkey hunting. They go through phases of the turkey rut, as we'll call it. Some people call it peak gobbling season. They don't go. Like right now, we just had a bunch of snow, and we're kind of coming. We're gonna finally. I think we're done with our. We might be done with the spring snowstorms. I hate to say that because about time you do, another one will roll in. But I think we're getting close now, and it's going to start warming up. And like right now, if you tried to hunt the birds, they're all flocked up. They're all in a great big group,
Yeah.
and you're just kind of at the mercy of where that group goes. They're not looking. Sure, some of the toms are probably starting to strut now, but you're not going to get that good rut action where you got toms out cruising looking for hens.
Yeah. Which you can still kill a turkey in the early season.
Oh yeah,
You just gotta
just
kind of hunt them
you gotta,
pattern more,
yeah,
more
you gotta hunt
scouting
them.
and seeing where they're going, and hopefully they'll come through
Yep.
your shooting range.
Yeah, you hunt them like deer. Figure out where they're feeding, try to set up in between them and where they're roosting, and hopefully one comes in range and you get them. And at any day they can start responding to calls. So but at the first part of the season, I would maybe call more sparingly, kind of judge the mood of your turkeys, and then you can ramp it up as the season goes on. And then you get to late season, they seem to respond good, and then once the grass gets tall, they disappear off the face of the earth.
Yep. You never see them in the summertime. It's weird.
Yeah, they can disappear into that woods and tall grass, and they're
Well,
just living on grasshoppers and bugs.
I don't know what hunt this was or what year it was, but it was early season, and you had like snow, and then like 2 days later, you called in like 6 toms.
Yep.
So like it was literally like a couple days went by, and it was like a snowstorm. They were flocked up, and then a couple days went by, and then you just called in 6 of them.
Yep. That was.
That's how
Yeah.
fast it change within a matter of days.
Yeah, they like warmer weather too. I mean, if it's cold and miserable, they're just not going to be moving real great. That's just how it is. It's kind of like us. It's cold and miserable out there. We're not going to be running around and making a bunch of noise and all that good stuff.
Speaking of turkey hunting, have you seen the new Beast Decapitator broadhead
I have not.
from the Bowmar? Well, I'll look this up, and as I'm looking it up, you should show people your bow and introduce your challenge you're putting upon yourself.
So my challenge is I'm going to try to shoot at least one turkey this year with my recurve bow that I bought off the internet, which is right here. If you look up for a second, you can see I got a camel wrap the limbs.
Nice.
They're all nice and camo. I got some string silencers I put on. That's what the limbs look like. You can see it reflecting the light.
Yep. It didn't on the camo side.
Obviously.
A lot less.
I put an old just one pin on there. I don't have a peep or nothing, but some string silencers I tied on. I did a video on how to tie all that on. All this stuff I bought off the internet for dirt cheap. The bow was $150, I think, or 190. Can't remember. This site was some junk I had for free. These were like $9. I bought some limb protectors. They were like $9. Knocking point and a finger tab. And then I just ordered a set of Easton traditional arrows, which are carbon, but they look like they have wood grain, and then they're 4-inch right helical feathers on there. So we're gonna go all out. But I got
Are
those
you doing
arrows.
Decapitator, or are you doing?
No, I'm just gonna do a fixed blade broadhead.
Yep. So I found the broadhead, but no, I think that'd be cool. We'll get that on footage for you. So
yeah, it's just a challenge. I've never shot a turkey with a recurve.
I've seen one person do it, and that was Tim Wells.
Fred, wow, he shoots a compound with no sights.
No, he's got the
Oneida
green arrow looking cool one.
So Oneida makes that bow.
Yeah,
Oneida
Fred Eichler's probably done it.
Fred Eichler shot a bunch of turkeys with a recurve. Yeah, and there's a lot of people who do it. I'm sure they just don't film it, but
two legends,
right? But
look at this thing.
It's just the economy's a little rough right now. I just want to show people you can get into hunting, and ideally you just go buy a compound bow off of go buy a used one at Shields or something. It's probably your cheapest way to get into it.
Yeah.
But this is another way too of nice thing about a recurve, you don't have all the tuning stuff that you do with a compound. I mean, other than maybe twisting up your string a little bit and just kind of finding some good arrows that'll fly out of it. But
more about practice than anything.
It's more about practice than anything. So I think it can be done. I got to set up a ground blind in the yard one of these days and see how it's going to work to shoot out of it with the recurve. So I'm going to try to practice that before I go out because, I want it to work good. I think it'll be fun, But the 5 people that turkey hunt that listen to this podcast will be good with this information. Nobody else turkey hunts. The rest of our followers. They're just there to hear us talk goofy about stuff. So,
but check out this broadhead.
Yeah, that's a nasty bugger.
So it's like a normal front broadhead, and it's got these two. It's 9 inches in cutting diameter.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
apparently, what he's saying, Josh Bomar, he's saying that it will fly like a field point, and you can have one of these broadheads on one of your arrows and keep it with your other turkey hunting, your normal deer hunting, whatever arrows. And you can strap one on, and it will fly like a field point. To like he says though, he does say like not as far, like it'd be like a 30 yards and in, but it will fly true. So I've never shot a turkey in the head. I've always wanted to. Maybe I should start, but that's a whole.
yeah,
You got to have a whole setup for that and the whole thing.
you do, and I don't know. Their heads move so much, and their necks so tough, and I've seen a lot of them get hit in the neck and not die.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just put one in the vitals, and
Well, as you're my bow mechanic, what broadhead am I using this year?
you are gonna probably use a G5 Mega Meat or a Grim Reaper on turkeys.
Yep. Just shoot them in the sweet spot and drop them.
That's right. That's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I'm excited for turkey hunting. Actually, I have a confession to make. Jeez, I shouldn't tell this to the world, but I am I'm having trouble in South Dakota here because there's people out catching walleyes right now out of the boat, and oof, I'm so tempted just to go fishing that actually I want to go fishing more than I want to go turkey hunting, which is really weird for me because I'm all about the turkeys, but I'm just not as it probably just hasn't hit me yet, but I'm just not as excited as I should be.
I think you haven't heard a gobble yet.
Yeah, that's probably
You got to hear
it.
that first gobble, and then after that first hunt, you're driving around. All you do is you see turkeys, and they're not even turkeys. It's a bush, a mailbox, a
Right.
soccer
But
ball.
no, season starts on Saturday in South Dakota here.
Wow.
Yep. Starts the 12th. Starts April 16th in Minnesota, so I'll be there for that opener.
And it goes till the end of May, doesn't it?
Yep. So it's I'm hoping I don't have to hunt a lot of days. There's Good Friday we have off of work, so I'm hoping that I can shoot my turkey right away on Wednesday or Thursday, get back to South Dakota, and then I got Easter weekend to hunt turkeys in South Dakota. That's kind of my plan. So I'd like to get a couple birds down by the time the weekend's over.
Yep.
That would make things nice for me.
I mean, everyone's. It'd be nice if I could just tag out in the first day.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
I think that's everyone's goal.
Right?
I mean, we've done it before.
That's
my favorite turkey hunting story is when we got the double the same day as I went to prom. So that was that morning, because I was like, my date was like, I think it was junior or senior year. I forget which. I think it was senior year. Or my date was like, you need to be over here at 10:30, and I was like, okay. And you were like, 10:30, we can hunt for 3 hours.
That's no problem.
Yep. So we went to the blind. We called one Tom in. I smoked that thing, dropped it with my bow, and then we had like 4 more. We're like, get back in, let's get a double. And then yours came in, and we were done at like 7:30.
Yeah. You think you could link that hunt and that photo to this podcast? I know you love it when I do that to you. Make you do all this extra work.
Yeah, I can do that. It'll pop up right here. Boop. Go watch that hunt.
Yep. it's a sweet little hunt.
Yeah.
And then it's got some good photos at the end of it.
And yours is kind of your bird that you shot. What was weird about that? So I had a nice long bird, but your bird was probably like 5-7 pounds bigger, bigger bird, but it had like beard rot or its beard got shot off or something. But
Yeah, I don't know if it froze it off or if it was fighting with other turkeys, but it only had like
just
a
a little half
4 inch.
inch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a little longer than that. You could see the
yeah.
beard.
But it got like you could see where it was like something happened and it got
Yeah, it was cut in half.
trimmed.
It wasn't a nice big long beard like yours was, but it had, funny part is as it's coming in, we're looking at it with binoculars and it's got big spurs on it.
Huge spurs.
Yeah. And then it was big fan on it, so it was a full mature tom.
Well, it was bigger than my tom. It was
Yeah.
an
It was
older
like
bird.
Yeah, it was an older bird, but it was a good one to shoot. But yeah, that day was crazy. We had turkeys coming from all directions, and
Yeah.
it was
And then when
on.
we were packing up, one was running so the field we were in, the road, and then the field behind it. We were walking to the truck and we saw another turkey heading our way. It was
Yep.
peak.
Yeah, it was peak time. That was about the end of April. It's hard to pick you got to pick when to be out there, but
Yeah. All you high schoolers, usually prom is a good time to go turkey hunting.
yep, yep, your prom, about the time prom is when to
You
get
can go
going.
that morning. You got plenty of time to get ready. I got home, I showered, I shaved, I got ready, even got the car gassed up and washed, and off I went.
Yep. When the what did they say? Is it the lilac blossoms or the
Oh yeah, those purple tree looking things.
yeah when they're about the size of when they start blooming a little bit, usually the crappies are biting and so are the turkeys are gobbling. So
Yeah, and usually the ticks are biting
yep. Oh,
right
it's
on your clothes. Pro tip: tell
yep.
them
Permethrin. Permethrin. You spray it on your clothes. It keeps the wood ticks off of you.
don't spray it on your skin
No, bad for your skin. But you treat your clothes with it.
like the day before.
Yep, and your clothes are good for weeks to keep
Your
those
boots and
birds.
your pants, especially.
Yep, your packs,
Yeah,
the whole nine
since we've been
yards.
doing that, ticks haven't been a huge issue.
No, you
You'll
won't have
maybe
any.
find one crawling on your boot, but that's about it.
Yep, way
Tuck
less
your boots
ticks
in
than mosquitoes with permethrin.
to your pants. It's a good
Yep,
pro tip.
that's right.
Yeah. Well, down south, they get worried about snakes and ooh. I like it
Yeah,
up
you
north.
get even out west. You got to watch
Yeah.
for rattlesnakes out western South Dakota.
Yeah, that's true west of the river, which is
Yep,
so weird. I don't think people realize that you don't start seeing rattlesnakes until you cross the river.
yep.
I don't know why that is. I don't know if they just can't swim, so they don't go
Must be.
across. But they like east side, East River, you're good. West River, but watch out.
Better watch out.
You
And
found a
so
big snake skin the one
yes,
year.
yep. You want to make sure you just watch where you're stepping, and then also down south where you're in a lot of thick cover and there's lots of snakes. And even out west, if you're gonna be in some grass, it's probably a good idea to have snake-proof boots or snake chaps on.
You know,
You don't need a rattlesnake bite to ruin your day.
you know. Before we end this podcast, I gotta say, me and my one coworker are gonna do another podcast. It's called Coop and Lindy's Hot Takes, and we're gonna talk sports and kind of current events, movies, whatever, right? And we've been talking about this is our first subject. I want to hear yours. Your hot take on this is all-time NBA starting five. Who would you have? All-time, your starting five, and I'll share mine first if you want to think about it.
So I'm gonna go MJ and Kobe and
MJ and Kobe.
Steph Curry as my guards.
So what? Like I want like positions. Like who's your point? Who's your two shooting guards?
Yeah, Steph Curry's my point.
Okay.
MJ and Kobe are my shooting guards.
Yep.
My 2 and 3. I'm gonna go with David Robinson. No, let me take that back.
Okay.
Heck, I'm gonna go Scottie Pippen at the 4. I was thinking Tim Duncan or David Robinson back in the day.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go Larry Bird at my number 4.
Larry Bird at 4.
Power forward, Larry Bird.
Yep.
And I'm going Shaq down low.
Okay. That's great. No LeBron.
LeBron.
I'll tell you.
LeBron couldn't carry these guys' jock strap. That's what I'll say.
I'll tell you my starting 5, and my co-host Cooper, he hates my starting 5, and he will hate yours for sure.
Perfect.
So here's mine. I got MJ at point.
Yep.
LeBron at 2. Actually, I'm gonna have LeBron at 3 because he's a big guy. He can do some screens. Kobe at the 2. So I have MJ and Kobe. LeBron at 2. I have Bird at 4 and Shaq at 5.
Yep.
I think that team is the most unbeatable team of all time. And that's the top 5 best players in my book ever to play basketball.
Yeah.
I could go. You could replace LeBron for Magic in my book, but I like LeBron. It's just kind of hard. He's LeBron.
I think LeBron is better than Magic by far.
I don't think I still think like that's how my list goes from number 1 through 5 best players ever.
Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
Is Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Bird, Shaq.
Yeah. I've sent you enough footage on. I mean, Kobe's Kobe. All right.
Kobe. He's number 2. He just is.
Yep. Solid. But I've sent you enough footage on MJ and Larry Bird of actually how good they were back in the day, and it's mind blowing.
Yeah. If I remember right, if I'm quoting it wrong, I'm sorry, Cooper. I think he's got LeBron, Curry, KD. Yeah, I know. And then he's got Shaq, and then he's got Michael. He's got like LeBron, Curry, MJ, and Kobe, Shaq, or KD. He was talking about those guys. I'm like, which is weird because he's only like, I was born in the year 2000. He was born like 2001 or 2. Like he's not that much younger than me, so he's not like
he just hasn't
not
seen
immature. But still, no, he just like Michael Jordan's the best. Kobe's number 2. LeBron's 3rd in my book.
Yep.
Just because I can't. I mean, he's a very dominant player.
Yep. He is for a fact.
But you're starting 5. I like it.
Yep.
You went Pippen though.
Yep. Well, no, I took Pippen out and I put Bird in. Bird and Shaq down low, and then I got Kobe and Curry.
So you're more of a Curry fan than a LeBron fan.
The thing about LeBron that I just don't like is as great as he is, he could be better.
Yeah.
He's just not as dominant as he should be. He can't take over a game like like MJ could. Like I'm gonna go win this game all by myself. Kobe could do that. MJ can do that. Curry can do that. That's why I have the Bird can do that. So that's why it's hard for me with those 4. I mean, if I'm building my 10, I'm probably, I'm putting Scottie Pippen, Tim Duncan on that team. I'm probably adding. I
gotta add Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, he's gonna destroy people.
He's young.
There was people back in Karl Malone back in the day. There was, there were some players that, that were great. That Allen Iverson, so Allen Iverson is he's like a mix between Kobe and Curry, right?
That's true. He could shoot and he could.
Yeah, he could do everything. He just couldn't stay out of trouble, But he could. basketball wise, he was right up there with those guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many great players.
He
It's
was
just
saying that
all.
like his thing was he was saying LeBron is better because of the points record and all these things, and I'm like, well, championships doesn't matter if you. It's just that's why I'm like until LeBron wins more championships than Michael Jordan, he's not better.
Yeah,
And then
and
be smart
and even if
factor
he ties
toughness
him,
and
he didn't win in the. Jordan didn't go out and build the super team. You
yeah.
know, they had him and Scottie Pippen, and they got a few other guys, and they just destroyed people.
And LeBron, one of his championships were in the COVID Bowl, and that just that don't
Yeah,
count.
yeah, yeah. He's. I mean, he's good, but to me, he's not. I mean, is he Hall of Fame? Sure. Is he top five at his position? For sure. Um, he's probably third behind MJ and Kobe.
Yeah,
So
yeah. This Cooper fella, he's a big KD fan. I'm like, I think Anthony Edwards is better than KD
you're very close.
and Giannis. Giannis is better than KD.
If you or a GM of a team and you could add one person to your team, are you picking, you know, heck, you could pick Nikolai Jokic. I'd pick him over KD.
I think Jokic is good. He
Yeah,
just doesn't try very hard.
but but
He's better than everyone, but he just doesn't try.
doesn't have to.
No, he's not good.
Yeah, he's that good. Giannis is he's just a freak.
Yeah,
So he didn't even start playing basketball till later in life. So
yeah,
uh, you know, it's Jordan had that mindset, that killer mentality, and just they call him Black Jesus for a reason. You know, you ever see that interview where they're interviewing all the old players talking about how you don't, you know,
Who
who
do
was
you
the
not want to
greatest?
guard? I don't want
Yeah,
to guard Mike.
yeah. Don't make Mike mad. Who's the
Yeah,
best of all time? They had that one guy when he switched numbers to 45. Told him, well, 45 ain't 23. Well, the next game he played him, he wore his number 23 jersey, and he missed the free throw on purpose so he could score exactly 45 points that night.
yep.
And then told the guy, look at the scoreboard. And his teammates were like, what did you do? Then I think they won the championship that year, and he continued to wear number 23, and he was fined $200,000 a game for every game that he wore 23.
Yeah, because it was retired technically.
Yep. So LeBron has never reached that level of baller status in his entire life, in
Well,
my
also,
opinion.
like I think Kobe's better than LeBron just because his mentality and toughness.
Well, and Kobe mirrored his game off of Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
He did everything he could do to be like Michael Jordan.
yeah,
And the same level of working out and toughness and the whole 9 yards.
yeah.
So,
Well, there you have it, folks. Our starting top 5 of all time. We'll get into football next time. Maybe we'll make it
yeah, that'd be too long.
We'll get too long. We'll hit the outro. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening. Go out there, fill the freezer. Listen to this for turkey calling. Fill the freezer. We out of here. Peace. There we go. That was a good one.
Yeah.